Hey guys, Bucketman here once again with part 3 of how to make a good LP. Now I know there's people out there like Suka Nakoto who've been waiting a while sitting on their haunches waiting for me to get off my ass and actually go make this portion, so let's get it started, shall we? In previous installments, we looked at how a good LP is created, what software you'll have to use to record audio and video and capture the best quality for each. Then later on, we moved on to bigger and better things with determining what games were good and not so good for an LP. And there's a couple of ways to do this depending on what type of gamer you are. I mean, some people cannot talk and play a game at the same time, and by that I don't mean they're stupid. I mean, there's some people who are just so dialed into what they're doing within the intricacies and the confines of the content of the game that they are playing that their mind really isn't focused on coming up with witty commentary. That's why you see a lot of the people who do all the screaming and joke after joke after joke are normally playing a game that doesn't require that much thinking. They're just playing a game like Happy Wheels or some other social media pariah that is just critically acclaimed to give you video views, although the game itself doesn't require much more than being a knuckle-dragging simpleton. Now, for those gamers who can't play at a high level of play consistently while weaving a narrative for their YouTube audience, I will suggest post-commentary. Now, it will not be as interesting as live commentary, for the shock value will be completely lost unless you want to fake it like many of the YouTubers around here actually do, or you can actually go in depth and just give more details about why you chose to make the decisions that you have. Now, when you're playing a game for the first time, post-commentary is definitely not the way to go. However, if you are playing a game that you are very skilled at and would like to focus mainly on the game to show skill, then do the post-commentary. That right there can work and play huge dividends when you have people watching the LP who are somewhat interested in your commentary but are more blown away by the fact that you've shown so much skill and intellectual prowess about how the game works, whether it be the mechanics, physics, intricacies between MLG, pro tactics, so on and so forth. Now, for those of you out there who are going to be a little bit more risque and play it a little bit farther from the hip, I highly recommend, if you're going to do live commentary, make sure you have done everything that you needed to do. Make sure everyone in your house is happy, satisfied, and doing their own thing. Make sure your dog does not have to be walked in 5 minutes. Make sure you use the bathroom. You've taken care of everything that you need to do to minimize the fact of interruption. There's been a plethora of YouTube videos where you have somebody's pet in the background going berserk, causing so much background noise that it's kind of hard to hear the LP or themselves, or you'll hear a phone go off the hook and they have to splice the video, and sometimes they don't even splice the video to go get a phone call. Then when they come back, the whole momentum or flow of the video is off. Even the LPer seems a bit put off due to the fact that they had to go do something else. It doesn't seem like their intention is fully immersed into the game and bringing their YouTube audience good quality content. And sure, those may be the bigger problems, but even the little things can turn a good LP into a hot mess. And that's when, in the middle of a recording, someone has to announce that they're thirsty, then take a drink. Now, I don't care if you take a drink. I'm not bothered by that. But to announce you have to take a drink, then make it obnoxiously loud sipping sound and go on with it for about 8 seconds can be a little bit tedious and annoying if you keep doing it over and over and over again. Look, I'm not going to hold it against you if you're thirsty. I'm fine with you being thirsty. Take a sip. But to actually go out of your way to be like, oh guys, I'm thirsty. I don't see how that wouldn't just work on somebody's nerves to have it consistently happen, video in, video out. And don't even try to get me started on someone trying to eat during the LP. If you are hungry, take care of that before or after you start recording. Nobody wants to hear you eating on chips, eating on Skittles, eating on something, and just having that spit slosh around in your mouth for 40 seconds at a time, and then try to talk with your mouth full to try and continue weaving your interesting stories over whatever game is being played at the particular time. And now that we've covered the outside interference, let's talk about the inside interference, okay? If you are doing an LP and your emulator crashes, I understand there's emulator crashes, but edit it out. Don't show your desktop, then you trying to fix the game. Just cut it out to where you're back in game at the exact position, ready to do your thing once again. And if you have to start over, don't have us watch you do what you did at the beginning of the video again. Just start the video off with, I was playing this earlier, but the game crashed, so I'm back here again. Everything's taken care of, and then you go forward. Don't have us watch you get to a certain spot, game crash, then have you go all the way back to do the exact same thing we already spent probably 2 or 3 minutes watching you do, verbatim, and then try to get progress. It just puts fluff on your video that you don't need of about 5 minutes, and it's wasted time that the viewer isn't going to get back. And speaking of wasted time that your viewer will never get back, if you are playing a very difficult game, please edit some of the deaths out. I understand to you it may be hilarious every single death, but I promise you, after a certain point, the deaths aren't funny. We just want to see some progression. We want to see what else this game could have to offer. Now, I'm not saying that you have to edit out, everything that you think is funny by any means. All I'm saying is if you are going to upload a video, and it turns out to be like a 15, 20 minute, in some cases 30-minute videos in which you make no progress because you keep dying to the same exact enemy, same exact boss, or same exact challenge segment within the video game's, mechanics and whatnot. No one wants to sit there and just see you do the same thing over and over again. It would be literally like me opening up an animated GIF and watching it 100 times and be like, haha, it's funny because this guy sure is screaming. No, that's not how it works. Now, maybe to a 5-year-old or someone who's immature and will laugh at every penis joke and every sort of acknowledgement of any sort of genitalia would just fall into a fit of laughter. But for the mature audience, we're not going to so much care that you keep dying. We actually want to see more. Now, this next flaw, even I've been guilty of, but that just goes to show that it's something I want to point out, and that is scare cams. If a game is not specifically designed around the core aspect of pulling an emotion from the gamer, whether it be fear, happiness, sorrow, so on and so forth, a scare cam isn't necessary. I mean, could you imagine watching those Mario ROM hacks that are already putting that small 4:3 aspect ratio within the confines of the video, and then someone plastering their big 16:9 HD camcorder recording of themselves on the video as if to say they are more important than the game that you're actually playing? Now, I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying there are a lot of people who make their scare cam obnoxiously big where it's not even accompanying the content in the video, it's just in the damn way. Now, there is a myth out there, a illusion, if you will, that a lot of LPers have fallen for. They believe that having a scare cam somehow makes your videos more professional. And it doesn't. You see, many people who use the scare cam, who quote-unquote use it effectively by audience standards, are the people who do nothing but scream, rant, throw things, and actually give you a visual medium of quote-unquote hilarity and chaos that you can actually watch and make fun of. However, those people who just sit there calm and chill, never reacting to anything, there's no point in having a scare cam. It's just in the way. It might as well be a black video if you're not going to show any sort of emotion or care or the slightest solitary giving of a single damn about the game that you are playing. It's pointless at that point. Now, my last pet peeve here might be the biggest one of all, and I don't think I have to worry about anyone who's actually serious and legitimate about their claims to actually want to get better at LPing is ever going to make. However, with that said, there are some big-time LPers like Darkside Phil who've made this mistake on a few occasions. They'll get so far into a game, they'll get like 30 to 40 parts worth of content on YouTube. Then all of a sudden, find the game is too hard and just stop playing. Really? You're going to have somebody watch all those parts, just waiting for that climax, waiting for that triumphant fist pump, waiting for you to beat the game. They have watched all these hours of content and are waiting on you to give them that climax. And then you just don't give it to them? I mean, I don't mean to sound rated M for mature, but I think we're all grown people here. I think. But that's like having sex and being like, are you about to have an orgasm, baby? And they say yes, and you're like, all right, I'm done. And you just leave. You just walk out the room at that point. That is the equivalent of that in the LP form. But yeah, this has really doubled on what I wanted to keep this at, that 5-minute limit. However, I do think, this video went pretty well. If not, give me some criticisms. What other things would you like to see me talk about in it as it pertains to making a better LP for not only you, but for, LPers that you may want to watch if you want to critique them. So, yeah, this is Bucket Man, and I'm out.